Okay, so as of today, January 9th, 2025, I have just finished season 6, episode 4 of Grey's Anatomy. My first order of business, Izzie lived. She lived. George is dead, but I think if this had happened earlier, I wouldn't have been like as torn up about it. Like, this sucked, but he's not like one of my favorites. So if he had to die in order for Izzie to live, I'll take it. Like, I don't hate this man anymore, but if I had to choose between him and Izzie, he's going down. And to bring it back to my girl, she and Alex got married, and they live in Derek's trailer now because fuck Derek Shepherd. He kicked them out of Meredith's house because they were just banging all over the place because Meredith was having issues processing George's death or whatever. So she was just banging in a bunch of inappropriate places. Very Meredith coded. But Alex and Izzie come home and they just see Derek's bare ass, and he's like, you know what? Here are the keys to my trailer. You guys go live out there. And it's then that we start to see like the cracks in their relationship and like them growing as a married couple. And I'm really excited to see more of that because I love them. They're my favorites. They do have a lot to navigate though, because Alex has never liked George, and then George was Izzie's favorite person. So when George died, Alex was like, I feel like we can't tell her right now. Like, she's not in a good place to hear it. And Callie's just like, I'm telling you right now, if they unplug him without giving her a chance to say goodbye, she will never forgive you for it. And that's when like he tells her and all of that. And they go to unplug him, and then Izzie's the one who decides about all of like the organs and stuff, because Callie's like, in our marriage, we were not the most important, I was not the most important person to George. You were, so you're the one who gets to decide about the organs, which is like a nice like button on the top of that icky storyline. That was like the one time I didn't like Izzie. Speaking of Callie, by the way, I think the shoe is on the other foot with her. Because for all of her talking shit about the connection between Izzie and George, she's doing the same thing with Mark and Lexi. So the way that like Mark and Callie are being framed is that they're like a Meredith and Christina and that they're each other's persons. Okay, fine. But Izzie and George were each other's persons as well. And they did a lot of fucking. So Callie doing all of that like cool girl shit with Mark, I understand why Lexi's feeling threatened. Like, and good for Lexi for saying something about it. She definitely needs to not be with this old ass man, but if she is going to be with this old ass man, she may as well assert herself. This relationship is, I don't know. Like, I want to like this so badly because I love seeing sapphic girls out there in the world winning, but there's just something about this relationship. I can't put my finger on it. Like, it doesn't speak to me. Like, give me a You Are Glasses moment. Give me something, Callie in Arizona. On a bigger, like, more all-encompassing plot point, the major through line of this season, plot-wise, seems to be that Ciel Grace is merging with Mercy West. And Callie was working for Mercy West for like a hot minute before she went back to Ciel Grace. But it looks like because of the merger, they're going to be letting go of a lot of people, and they let go of the first wave of people at the end of episode 4, and one of them was Sif Nurse. How are you gonna do Sif Nurse like that? What's her name? Molly or something like that. But like, she's been around since season 1, and she did not need to go out to a layoff. I'm also not really understanding how the merger works, because like Ciel Grace is a building and then Mercy West is a building. So Ciel Grace and Mercy West are having like a merger. That means both of the hospitals still need to be staffed. Like, why are they doing that? Why are they laying off all these people? They still need the same amount of people to staff both hospitals. Like, I'm very confused as to why people need to be fired for this. Also, Lexi's intern class was decimated by like the first round of firings. There's like this one guy who is part of Lexi's little group of Christina interns. He got like some girl pregnant and he got to stay, but his girlfriend or his wife didn't. And that really sucks. And that's like a whole other thing. Oh, and speaking of Lexi, Meredith and Lexi's dad, Thatcher, came by, and he was apparently dying of liver failure, and Meredith just gave him part of her liver. Like, she barely even thought about it. Like, she was just like, I don't know if I want to do this, and then Lexi completely guilts her, and I'm just like, oh, I go back and forth on Lexi sometimes because like I love her. I love her like precocious energy, but then she'll do some shit like that, and I'm just like, dude, leave Meredith alone. She took that shit in stride, but she didn't have to, and she shouldn't have had to, you know? So Meredith is now recovering from the liver transplant while this whole merger thing is going down. And she's the protagonist. I don't see them firing her from a show called Grey's Anatomy. I see why like she would be worried in a situation like that. These two are together and they're going to therapy now together. Cool. I'm also going to take a guess, another guess at what Owen could have possibly done. So it's probably a writing issue. I still think it's a writing issue because like even the most reprehensible characters on TV, there's always people who like them. So my next guess is he does cheat on Christina and like probably cheats on her a bunch. But he does it with someone who's like just on the wrong side of legal. Like this is still like the mid 2000s, and I remember growing up watching House. Like while all of you guys were watching Grey's Anatomy, I was watching House. And there was like a little mini arc with Dr. House and like this barely like not even 18-year-old patient, and she was throwing herself at him because of like symptoms and stuff, and he was like entertaining it. So like that was the era of TV that we were dealing with at the time. So I think Owen cheats on Christina, but he does it with someone who would be considered jailbait at the time, like at the time of like the 2000s, and that would make him fucking disgusting. Fuck Owen for that. I don't even know if he actually did do that, but if that is my guess, then y'all are right. He is fucking scum. That also brings it back to being a writing issue because Mark is dating a much younger girl now, but Lexi isn't, quote, jailbait. Owen would be cheating on Christina with someone who would be considered jailbait, who's like just under 18 or barely 18. So that is my guess. That is why you guys hate him. Anyway, I'm just gonna go back to watching the show and celebrating that Best Girl is alive. Girlie had to shave her head too because of the chemo and the cancer and all of that. So her hair is actually starting to grow back. Like she had an episode where she was just wearing a wig, and that's like another thing that brings it back to the merger because she put on that wig and she did brain surgery for 5 hours while like zonked out on cancer drugs that Alex had to bring to her because of the merger. Like she was scared of losing her job. Like that sucks, you know? Like I know that like she has done some bad things. Like that whole thing with George was not good. That was my least favorite time to be an Izzie girly. The Denny Duquette thing and the Elvad Wire wasn't like the best thing either. But like I don't care. I support her rights and her wrongs. I watched season 1, 2, and part of 3 mostly as it aired. Like I was in and out. I was a lost girly, so I missed a lot of Grey's Anatomy stuff, as you could probably tell. But this moment just burned itself in my head. It was basically like everyone was making fun of her for how she put herself through med school. And she's just like, you guys can make fun of me all you want. Like, fuck y'all, I'm out of debt. And it like that was formative for me. So I support her rights and her wrongs. And if anything bad happens to her, I will find Shonda. I will find her. Anyway, off I go to watch more season 6. From what I understand, it's from what, like a comment that I read back. It was season 5 finale, season 6 finale, and season 8 finale that are scary. So, all right, I shall keep trucking.